Hi guys, it's Helen here and thank you for joining me for day 4 of my springtime series. Now today we're going to be doing some DIY, some gluing, some sticking and some painting. So this is a Forsythia branch. I've rescued a twig from my garden from some off cuttings from last year, so those were lying around, and these flowers are made out of paper. Okay, so first off we're going to be starting off by painting the jar, and then we'll be decorating our branches. So let's get started on that. Okay, so I'm going to start off by making the jar first, and I'm going to use these milk bottles. Now I got these from Home Bargains, but I know miniature milk bottles are quite popular at the moment, so you should be able to find them somewhere where you are. Okay, so these are, let me grab the measurements, these are approximately 5.5 inches tall. And I'm going to be painting them with some white gesso. So you're going to need a paintbrush as well, and I've got my messy mat down, so if you don't have one of those, put some newspaper down and perhaps wear an apron as well. I'm in my apron. Okay, so what we need to do is paint on 2 coats of this gesso. So I'm not going to go around the top and on the inside, I'm going to do that last. So just with your paintbrush, just paint. Might be a bit patchy. I like that look. If you want to do it neater, then just do your best to do it how you want it. Okay, so I've just done my first coat and I've heat set it with my heat gun. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, or if you don't have one you can just leave it to dry naturally. I'm a bit impatient, so I like to speed things along a bit. So now I'm starting on my second coat. Okay, so I've done 2 coats here and it's dried, and I've done the bottom. Make sure you don't forget the bottom. Now it's all dried, I can hold it now, and I'm just going to do the inside and the top rim. There we go. I'm just going to heat set that. And the most important thing you need to do now is wash your brush. Okay, so I've cleaned my brush off, no more gesso on there, and I've just pulled out some Stampin' Up ink droppers. Now this one is Soft Sky. You can use acrylic paint for this as well. It's whatever choice of medium you want to use. So I'm just going to put a few drops of this onto my mat. You can use an acrylic block as well, or a bit of cellophane. So I'm not going to use too much water. I'm just going to get this going here. And then we simply just paint your jar. It's an absolutely lovely spring colour, and it goes really well with the yellow as well. So this is absolutely perfect for displaying over Easter and spring. And then once the if you fancy a change after Easter, then you can just swap out the branch for something else. So this would look absolutely lovely on a mantelpiece. Okay, I don't want to touch the sides now until it's dry, so I'm just going to carefully get the inside of this done. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get the heat tool out again and just quickly give that a blast. Okay, so I've got a few details here. I think I quite like those, so I'm going to keep those. If those bother you, just go over again with your paintbrush and smooth those out. But I'm happy with that. That's quite warm now, so I'm just going to leave that just to set and dry properly all the way through. I'm going to clean up and then we're going to get on making the flowers and sticking them on our branches. Okay, so I've gathered everything we're going to be needing to make the branch. So this is just a cutting from some of my cuttings from my garden from last year. They were just lying around. And so this is actually from a violet tree. So I just snipped it and I've trimmed off the tops as well just to make it neat and tidy. And it's more or less the shape that I want it to be. So we're just going to set that aside because we need to prep our flowers. Now I'm using Daffodil Delight. It's a yellow colour from Stampin' Up. It's a lovely bright yellow colour. It's absolutely perfect for the Forsythia. And I'm using their Blossom Builder Punch as well. So I'll be using this star-shaped flower here, which is absolutely perfect for the effect we're going for. And you're going to need a pen with a rounded bottom. I'm using my paper piercer, but if you have a pen that will be fine. Or if you have a flower making kit, you can use your nibs from here as well. So I'd probably use the one on the smaller side, and a foam pad as well, because we're going to be pressing our flowers down just like so to make that lovely pressed, I can't think of the word now, but it looks like a Forsythia flower now. Okay, so I've split my piece of paper into long strips just like that. I've got them in the jar here. Those are the ones I've done already. So all you need to do is pop it in like that. You are going to get some other bits that you don't want as well, small bits of confetti. It's just going to be a byproduct, but we're using the most of it for the flower. So just pop it through at that angle. You may need to set a little bit of time for this, or ask someone nicely if they don't mind sharing the task with you. Okay, so I've got enough flowers now. I think I've got absolutely loads. I could probably make quite a few of these now. So I'll just quickly show you how I did this again. So you just take your flower on your foam. Now this is a foam block from my block caddy. So these are the holes where the acrylic blocks are put in. So these are just basically something that you would throw away, but I like to keep them and use them for my flowers. If you don't have one of these, you can use your hand just like so and press it down like that. But with all these flowers that you'll need to do, it's much easier just to use a foam block just like that. Okay, let's tip all those out. I've got absolutely loads. Now I'm going to be using Tombow for this. It's a wet glue. Move those aside. And I've noticed, if you look at a Forsythia tree, you get a lot of them when they grow up the spire of the branch. They seem to be in clusters. So if you want to copy something, just look and see how it grows in nature, and then just try and recreate that. So I'm going to start in random places, working my way up. Now Tombow does dry quite fast. It's a very strong glue as well once it's dried. So this will be good if you want to bring this out year after year. So I'm going to stick that there. Just hold it a few moments. And as you can see, it's holding quite well. PVA, you could use PVA, but you'll be holding your flower there for a lot longer before you're able to take your hand away. Okay, so that's the first set done. I'm just going to stick it to 2 flowers. Work my way up. Also going to alternate them, so these ones are facing outwards, and I'm going to do these ones back to front, or backhand front. If you do have time, you can also sponge the edges of your flowers with a coordinating stamp pad. So this is Daffodil Delight, so I would use a Daffodil Delight ink pad and just sponge around the edges. I think I did sponge one, it's in here somewhere. If I find it, I'll show you. Okay, but I won't make you watch me cover the whole branch, so I'm going to go to pause in a minute, and then you can join me a little later on once I've covered a few more of these branches. Okay, if you're wondering about this Tombow glue, it does dry clear. Another good wet glue that you can use is Scotch Quick Dry. I do have a bottle of that. This is also one of my favourites. So this is Quick Dry adhesive. That on the side. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put you on pause while I carry on having a lovely afternoon decorating my branch. Okay, so I've done this branch here, so I've still got the rest to do, but I just wanted to show you that some of the flowers, when you look on a real tree, they do seem to like point down and up in funny sort of angles. So I'm going to try and recreate that on the branch by adding some of the glue along the petal just like that, and then gluing it along the branch, and hopefully I can get that pointed down look. So I'm just going to stick that one just like that, and then once the glue is dry I can then bend the paper round and down to get the look that I want. Okay, so I'm just going to carry on doing this and then I'll be back soon. Okay, so I'm pretty much finished with that now. All the flowers are on, and I did actually manage to find that sponged flower. There we go. Does add a little bit more detail and dimension, but if you can be bothered to do all of those flowers, then go ahead. Okay, so this is an absolutely perfect gift for giving to someone for Easter, especially if they don't eat chocolate. So this would be lovely to have on display at Easter time as well, and generally in the spring season. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please do join me for tomorrow. I have a good project for that, and I'll see you again.